Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and we're back with Mountain Arena. We have a message first from Machaka, who says, I just saw Lanka's Bless and Death Ball. I think I'm in trouble. I would have to agree with that. I think what I said at the end of the last video is that army could probably march its way right to Machaka's capital. There's, of course, some kind of exceptions there, or things like counterplay Machaka could do, but that is a build that would ruin him. Message from Micklin. That bump with Sarmatia was very satisfying. I think their Bless will have a very hard time against my early offensive army plan, so I intend to try to chase them out. I don't have enough troops to confidently take the cave if they do have another party in range and a PD dump, so taking the forest. For each fight, I'm choosing whether to cast Luck or Cheat Fate intentionally. Luck is for hard fights, where I might lose troops. Cheat Fate is for easy fights where I want to avoid afflictions. That's very thoughtful. Oh my god, he is really harassing people with, this is a message to everybody, not to Omniscience. Every turn they're getting a spam message from Micklin. You have to report him to the authorities. Alright, we get a message from Ubar as well. Yomi has asked for a stable border. It looks like they ran into a few expansion problems and want some quiet time. Thank God. I would have had nothing to fight regenerating Dione. I spotted at least 2 by now. They're really scary. Spirit Sight and magic weapons. I can now invest into Construction 2 and have some demon slaying tools. That should give me a chance. I guess the Holy Scourge does come online at Construction 2. I was trying to think what that would be. Yeah, that would be a pretty big help. Especially like mirror image on a dude. And then maybe like Earthmite or something. He could totally one-hit Dione. Strength of Giants Jin may be able to kill them if they can get a jump on them, but I'm not sure, actually. T'ien Ch'i to the north seems to have done well during expansion. I'll have to check with my scouts. This is a very flexible nation, but no direct counter to my units like the Dione. Right now, not too scary, but very unpredictable. Okay. We have some action, as we can see from Micklin, between him and Sarmatia. So, let's start there with probably the more interesting part of this turn. So, Micklin losing an expansion party here to Indies. Doesn't have imps. I think that would have been the critical factor here. So he has people to catch the lance charges, which is good. Few problems. This guy is all afflicted, right? So he's got a limp. He's lagging behind the main group. This guy's going to die really quickly. Now they're completely surrounded on all sides. And, there's not really a... he has bark skin, right? So there's a defensive component to the Bless, but it's not a strong defensive component. Yeah, I think if he had imps, he would have won this. Like, 2 imp castings would have won it. But now is a pretty critical loss. Possible, too, that Vanheim had a scout here. And that could lead Vanheim to maybe look at trying to hit him. If he knew he lost an expansion party here. Especially if Vanheim also knew, which he probably will hear from Sarmatia, that Micklin attacked him. So Sarmatia standing here. So Cheat Fate, I think he got Cheat Fate on a lot of these guys to reduce the affliction load. And he expands here, doesn't take any losses. Yeah, it really was just how those Jags got positioned, where they got completely surrounded. And some of that happened due to one of the guys dying at the very beginning of combat. And he probably died partially because that other dude had a limp and was lagging behind the main group. Oh, this guy got beat up a little bit. Man, I really like the idea that he had that Moon Priest coming with one of these squads. You can see he's doing the budget Micklin Priest expansion with a lot of them. But this one, he's got a Moon Priest. Is that what they're called? Yeah, Moon Priest. And yeah, he's got a Moon Priest with this too. I really like that. I want to look and see if it's just more gold he's sacrificing when he does it, or is it... I don't think they're slow to recruit. Yeah, two commander points. Oh, wait, these guys are 2? That can't be, right? Does Micklin have no slow to recruit commanders? I mean, am I misunderstanding this? No, I'm reading it right. Okay. So, yeah. I like the idea. What's the gold difference here for a Moon Priest? For these bigger expansion parties, there's a lot to say for them. I really like that he's picked them. I haven't, I've played late age Micklin once, but I don't think I've really ever played early age Micklin. But I really like, okay, it's not that much more. It's 175 gold versus 65, but you're also getting a Holy 2 Priest. So if you're taking more than 5 Jags, these are going to do a better job at blessing them. And then also, you can spam out luck and cheat fate and stuff. So that's really cool. He's also found a great silver mine. Now, Sarmatia, I hesitate to say they didn't expect to be attacked here, but they certainly didn't do any kind of PD dumps. The thing, though, is like, what is Micklin really going to do, right? So he could combine armies here and attack from here into here next turn, potentially with, some more, like blood slaves that he's ferried out. We can see he's got a blood slave, probably a blood hunting operation being set up over here. Oh no, he's recruiting slaves here, but he's going to use these slaves not for fighting, but for blood hunting operations. And he's got a good number of Jags in his capital, but these are going to be a while getting out here. So I don't know exactly what Sarmatia is going to do. I think this is going to put them in a bit of a stalemate, where it's going to be tricky for Micklin to press forward because he's going to have to go into a cave, which, by the way, I don't think he has Spirit Sight or anything, does he? No. Let's see. Doesn't have Spirit Sight. He does have Spirit Sight. Okay. Okay, so he could fight in the cave. Oh man, there's only 2 guys. I don't think... It's only 8 Jaguars, though. And he could potentially flank with this squad, which would make it like a PD dump and these guys flanking to kill the commander, I think would ruin this Micklin army. It would be very risky for Micklin to attack into this cave province. I'm not sure what type of PD there was. I think this was a Garthans, which aren't obviously very good. But I think he could potentially flank. Otherwise, though, not looking amazing for Sarmatia. This is a cold 3 province. This is a cold 2 province. We're in middle of winter, so really we don't know what this one is. But this one's probably... this is neutral temperature by Dominion. It's just cold because of winter. This is cold because of winter. Sarmatia is a heat nation. I don't know if Niflheim's going to try to push their luck. Because, again, they've got 2 heat nations that border them. But... things are looking a little desperate for Sarmatia. I'm really not sure what they're going to do. They did have this expansion. Let's watch it. They lost a few archers. Oh, man. Those guys really just ran straight past the heavy cav. Okay. But yeah, this army can only go up here and then attack up this way. I mean, Niflheim's going to be very happy with these boundaries, or borders. I don't know what his plan is to head south. Nobody seems to want to take any of this. He does have another Nifl Jarl, who I would be guessing this Nifl Jarl would come back and try to clear out these, but who knows? I wonder what level of research Stygian skin is. It's 4. That's pretty deep. Okay. Yeah, I don't really know how this is going to all play out, but Sarmatia is looking in a very desperate position. Let's continue with the column approach, though. We've kind of looked at this theater of war, but we can see the fun wagons are doing a good job trampling everybody they see. They have bunched up here, so this was only 1 turn of expansion again for Hinom. They only expanded once last turn. It's going to be a second turn of just 1 expansion. But it looks like they're going to roll the fun wagons up towards Yomi. The question, though, of course, is how well will they do against Dione? And that is actually very interesting because Dione, I believe, are not size 5, they're size 4. So even though they look very big on the battlefield, as a size 4 unit, fun wagons are size 5. And I believe they will fuck up Dione. Like, I think 8 of these guys will ruin them. The only question, though, is once the Dione dies and it becomes a ghost, will they be able to trample it quickly enough before it runs off the field in its second form? And to that, I do not know the answer. But I think considering all those factors, it makes sense for Hinom to make a hard push as soon as he can into Yomi's lands. So we will see if that happens. We've already looked at Niflheim. They've set very aggressive borders with Sarmatia. No expansion to the south. We haven't looked at these battles, though. I don't know if any of them will be interesting. Here again, he's taking these guys. He doesn't need to. He should just do literally anything else with these commanders. Like, all these guys do is provide opportunity for an HP route on the Nifl Jarl. Like, look at these guys. They can't hurt him. Literally full hit points with regen. So I think he's been a little too conservative with how he uses his Nifl Jarls. Because the Niflheim expansion, like, starting army is pretty solid. So he could have really been having that run around, do its own thing, independent, and then taking other stuff out with Nifl Jarls. But he chose to use that up. And one of the things, too, is Nifl Jarls are really expensive. If you're making a ton of them, you might not have gold for a lot of other troops. Siege strength can be an issue. It can be really nice having that starting army around. If things go well and you need to start sieging forts midway into your first war. Ubar. Oh, this was one of the other things that Yomi did. I'll have to come back over here and look at this, but yeah, ooh. Okay, Ubar, though. I don't believe we have any battles from Ubar this turn. Nope. So they've just basically amassed an army here. I think they have mercs. They have the wet ones, who they'll probably use to try to take out these Triton Guard. And I'm guessing they're going to move here, and we'll probably bump with T'ien Ch'i. And T'ien Ch'i just took out... Was this a lizard province? It looks like it. He's got some Atavi archers, which are going to do murder to these lizards. These Warriors of the Five Elements are going to run in. Now, I would think the Warriors of the Five Elements would do fine here. Oh, except they're all different speeds. Did these guys not get blessed? Oh, they're literally that many with limps. Oh my god. That is a lot of limps. Did this guy not get blessed? Combat speed 14. I don't know why he's at the back. If you know a lot of your guys have limps like this, one of the things you probably should think about doing is the smaller... Think about it this way. The smaller the distance between your army and the enemy, the less time there is for them to get spread apart. Right? So by putting them all the way at the back of the battlefield, having them have to run forward, they're going to split up into basically squads based on how fast all the individual units are. And that caused them to arrive at different times to the front line and then to get defeated in detail. So, yeah, I think they all got blessed. So, yeah, honestly, I think if they were here in the middle, by the time they ran... Let's look at this one more time. Imagine they're placed where I say they are. Imagine they're placed right here. Right? Hold and attack. Okay, this is when they run forward. They would be right here running forward. So they would be right here right now. And then they would be right... Now they would be making contact. So they would be this far apart making contact. So these guys would be here within half a round. But as it stands, when they make contact, they're probably about twice as far away as they would have been, almost. Because they're positioned at the back. Anyhow. Loses the Atavi. I think those were mercs, so I think they're all gone now. And just has a skeleton crew left of 5 Warriors of the 5 Elements. I wouldn't feel very happy about running them in here. I mean, the positive thing about running them in to fight these human indies is that there's not really archers, which would tear these guys apart. But there's just so many infantry, they would overwhelm 5 Warriors of the 5 Elements. So instead, he's almost certainly going to go here and take this wasteland. And that will leave this province here for Ubar. So I guess we'll see that happen. I was speculating that maybe last turn he would take all his Jin and move here to take out this unique or special province. But apparently he's decided against that and is moving forward. So I don't know if he's... I don't think he's going to initiate an early war necessarily. It seems more likely to me he's going to go against, like, wait for Shaitan and use the Shaitan timing to go against T'ien Ch'i. The other thing that's, of course, relevant here is we heard from Ubar that Yomi wanted some sort of, like, stable borders, which inclines us to think that he's probably going to be more aggressive with Hinom. And we can see, you know, while these fun wagons would I think win a battle, ruins may be a strong word against Dione. I think they will not do exceptionally well against Ko-Oni, who have an ethereal form and high attack density and will probably be able to beat them up. So I think actually this could swing in different ways. But if their first war is against... The other thing is that I think Melquirts will fuck up Dione. I just feel like they're better super combatants. Especially... Well... I'm not sure. I mean, we'll take a look at the stats real quick. So, Melquirts... 15 attack, 18 defense... Anyway, basically they've got a 17 attack, 33 damage weapon, and a second attack, which is really important. Very good head and body protection, or pretty good head protection, 5. 60, they're size 5 and 69 hit points. Dione, of course, have 2 forms, which is hard to account for, because a lot of times they run when they switch into their second form. About 20% less hit points, or maybe a bit more. 30% less hit points. They basically have the same kind of protection. They have a two-handed sword. They hit actually just about as hard. They have noticeably worse defense, though, and part of that's due to not having a shield. I guess they have better combat paths in general, especially for like early research. Like all of them will have earth, so they could do like temper flesh. I don't know. They're both pretty good. I mean, obviously they have a huge weakness of being demons too. So, you know, all the like holy scourges and stuff. Like a Melkor with a holy scourge would kill a lot of Dione, I expect. Anyway, that's Hinom. He took an expansion here. It's pretty easy stuff, and he's got a big squad of dudes here. And that brings us back to Niflheim, which means we're heading over 1 column. And let's start with Yomi here. So Yomi, we saw them expand here and here. We'll watch one of these, even though he must have Iron Skin now. He seems to be more confident with his Dione. Still Stone Skin. Okay, he has Flying Shield. That's pretty good. Oh, and Fire Shield. Okay. I can't remember the research level of Fire Shield. I think it's Enchantment 3, but it may be 2. I'm pretty sure it's 3. So instead of going all 3, he decided to go Enchant 3. Yeah. And that gave him Flying Shield as well for his Air Dione. So that's interesting. Yeah. Do we have and he's got another Dione up here that he used. I was thinking he actually didn't need the Dione present. He could probably just send this army. But he apparently has brought a Dione as well. Dione got hit pretty freaking hard. Okay. Yeah, I don't think the Dione was really needed there. He did take a hit like a champ. I think he took like 9 damage, but that's okay. Oh, is there a lab here? Yep. Free lab. This isn't a swamp, though. I don't think the foreign recruit mages for Yomi can be recruited here. Coming down to TNN. Oh, Agartha donates a commander? What the fuck? There's Springhawks. Oh, Enslaved Mind. Yoink, before the Springhawks can even kill him. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I see no TNN battles. There is a decent chance that means the elves are sneaking somewhere. Though this is strange, because I would expect the elves to want to take this. So I don't exactly know what's happening. I would feel the elves would want to come and take this. I don't really know what's happening. I guess we'll have to see next turn. But I am very puzzled by this. We already watched T'ien Ch'i expansion. He's got a big army up here, looking very menacing towards Hinom. I would not be surprised at all to see him attacking one of these provinces next turn. This only has 6 PD. I don't think it's going to have much to say to like 15 warriors of the 5 elements. If he goes on Hinom, though, and Ubar jumps on him, that could be a problem. There's a lot of Jinn that are missing. We don't know their whereabouts, so we'll have to see. But yeah, not too much to report on there. Lanka finally decided to kill the elephants that were guarding the entrance to their, essentially to their base. And they have rolled out with even more dudes here. The question, so they rolled south. They had a question of whether they were going to roll north or south. They decided to go south. God, look at those guys go. They're so fast and killy. Oh my god. Yeah, I would be shitting my pants if I were Machaka right now. So here's the thing. We were saying last time, if he went north, there's a lot of land to grab, potentially before Agartha gets it. If he goes south, especially with the main force of his army like he did here, this is the entire army. Oh, there's a fort coming up here from Machaka. Then basically I think you attack Machaka, otherwise this army has to waste a ton of time backtracking. If you attack Machaka, you probably don't waste a ton of time going north. You probably bring this down as reinforcements. Yeah. Not looking very good for Machaka. I don't know what kind of PD they have. But I think these guys are going to run through PD dumps reasonably well because they have other supporting chaff and like Ganas, which are going to hold up pretty long against PD. He's got a total of like 30 lion warriors near the front, but there's another probably 15 or 20 Anusaras here that are going to join up with the main army. Machaka has a chance to hold, but it would have to be through a very well-executed PD dump. Oh, he probably wouldn't mind picking up the Throne of Life. He does not have growth scales, and Lanka certainly likes growth scales a lot. The other X factor in all this, I think Machaka has to PD dump and defend this. If he loses this fort, which is going up, if Lanka attacks, and I think Lanka should attack here. There's obviously a lot of risk involved, but I would expect it. I think you have to deploy the god, the Celestial Lion, as well as all 10 of these Lion Warriors. And then you have to do a max PD dump and hope that somehow you're able to pull out a win. I don't honestly see how that would work. I think you have to stop recruitment and PD dump or something. Like, it's a very desperate situation from Machaka. The risk doing that, of course, is that Lanka could just sit here, right? Lanka's trying to get, like, he's recruiting Kooni here. He had mentioned to us he was going to try to get his blood hunting going and get early sacred production going. It's looking to me like he's about to pick his first war, though, so we'll see. And with that, we'll switch over one row more and come and look at Machaka. We saw him expand here. We'll watch this battle. A few heavy cav. It's kind of cool seeing this bless, though, because this is such a rare bless to see, seeing somebody pick Ethereal. It's really so expensive. But because of that, we never really get to see it in play. You know, so it's hard to assess the balance of something that never gets used, right? It's more like assessed only through logic, never through, like, empirical testing. So if Machaka can use this bless to good effect, I think that would be really interesting. These guys actually may be able to map move 2 over here and protect this fort. I didn't think about that. But this is friendly terrain. There's no hard terrain to go through. These guys have decent map move. I think he actually will. Yeah, this group can move back and defend. With both of these groups, I do feel he can defend this. I think it will be bloody. These guys really will fuck him up, but I'm going to be super interested to see what happens here. And I'll be really interested to see if Lanka turns around. I don't think they will. Anywho, moving down, Sarmatia. I think we already looked at the Sarmatian situation. They lost 2 Oryapata here. God, this just reminds me of my game with Sarmatia. Just really heavy casualties early. Completely embarrassing expansion. Definitely bringing back some painful memories. Okay, and then Agartha. We've got a troglodyte lord who appears to have site-searched here, because we have a garden of frozen flowers, and he hasn't moved. And he moved... Oh, man. He moved this party back to clear these things out. I think they had moved up here the previous turn. I don't know what he's doing. It's like he's scared to leave his house. What the hell is going on? There's a few people who are just being very timid and leaving their 3x3. Like, there's important, juicy land here for the taking. This is a little bit of weird geography for Agartha, though, because he would have to come up here and control this swamp, which is very much in TNN's like wheelhouse to come here and control this farm. But if you move south, there's obviously a lot of stuff to take too with Lanka. And, you know, if Lanka goes and picks a fight with Machaka, which we were just talking about is probably pretty likely, you know, Agartha can come and take it. But he needs to get his ass over there and go take it. This also is a high-value province. His god, I believe, is amphibious, so he could probably send him down there. Anyway, I'm a little confused by the lack of action. Speaking of action, though, we have Vanheim, who loses 7 Van here. Wow. Yeah, oh my god, there's javelins. Holy shit. 3 Van here already dead. Oh my gosh, that is so bloody. What happened with the formation, too? That's the other thing I don't understand. Well, he has some on guard commander. I don't want to approve of that. I can understand maybe having 1 dude with a limp on guard commander. Keeping 5 guys on guard commander, I mean, Jesus Christ. That was a big... He probably lost 3 dudes here he didn't need to if he didn't have those guys on guard commander. Because a lot of the Van Heers ran in and got surrounded by Bone Tribe. You do not want that happening. If he brought, like, 5 more guys were part of the front line, they wouldn't have gotten surrounded and probably died. Expensive losses. And we already saw this failed expansion from Machaka. And I believe that brings us back to where we started. With Machaka over here and Micklin over here. So let's take a look real quick at score graphs before we close this one out. At the front, we see Micklin having started some aggression We see T'ien Ch'i. And we see, who is this last one? Machaka. But Machaka's potentially over, I don't want to say overexpanded, but they're about to probably lose a bunch of land. We'll see. Anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying. I feel like this was a pretty quick one. See you next time. Take care until then. Bye.